think I am definitely like the type of climber who like wants to grab every hold perfect, especially on like a hard sport route. It's so interesting watching that. I mean, obviously like Ondra's climbing has probably evolved a ton in the last 10 years, but watching that Ladura Complete movie of Chris and Adam climbing Ladura, just how different their styles are and the way that they move and the way that they climb. So different. They both do it. But, you know, Adam is just like, rah! Like he's trying really hard in every move and he's not really readjusting. He's just kind of like thrashing
Flying
his
up,
way up it.
flying
Yeah,
up the
flying,
route.
climbing so fast.
Yeah.
And he can do that and he can send, but Chris is like super careful and methodical and like readjusting on every hold to get it perfect and then just like making the next move look as easy as possible.
What was it about watching Ondra on Perfecto Mundo that...
Well, I think pockets, like you have to readjust a ton on pockets. You know, not a ton, but it's like, it helps. Especially pockets in Margalef where they're like kind of like thin in-cut lips. And then like you have to kind of like whittle your finger into a lot of, into your, like your fingers into a lot of them. And yeah, I mean, obviously he was also trying it with like pretty poor conditions, like humid and warm.
Yeah.
But like, I think one thing that Ondra doesn't do a lot of, because he probably doesn't need to in a lot of cases, is like readjust on holds. Maybe he just like had it in his mind from a young age that he like didn't have the time or something. And he just like rolled with that. But I don't know. I mean, Ondra's climbed 15D and I haven't, so he probably knows a few things that I don't. But yeah, I don't think that Ondra like does a ton of readjusting. Probably because in most situations he doesn't need to. But he is also really methodical. I mean, it's funny, like when I watched that video of him on-sighting the golden ticket way back when, I noticed, wow, he's like getting more fingers in this pocket than the people who are like red pointing this route. Like he knows how to milk a hold.
Fingers too.
Thick fingers, yeah. And he's got such a large margin up there that he's like, he can readjust until he's like got the hold good. Whereas people who are like desperate and pumped are like barely getting a finger or two in it. They're just like, doing the next move. But he's like, oh, I'll take the time to get this hold good. So I don't know. Maybe our assessment is completely false.
Are you like a very cerebral climber, you think? Are you like making a lot of conscious decisions and thinking?
I think I'm very detail oriented.
Yeah.
I think I have like that sort of perfectionism, detail oriented, like bent.
Yeah. I see that in your climbing for sure.
I think that like sometimes makes me a little heady on projects. Like I think that like I used to be a little better at like just accessing beast mode and trying really hard. And now it's like, you know, I'm like, okay, I got to remember that. I got to do it all right, you know?
Or like if you grab a hold slightly wrong.
Yeah, or I just like give up more easily than I used to. Especially on boulders. Especially on like, you know, boulders that seem slightly consequential. I just like have a lot more like talking myself into it to do.
I think that's pretty normal. Yeah. I'm definitely that way.
Yeah. But some people
stuff.
aren't. Like Keenan is just like, he's just ready to like try 100%.
That's
like
amazing.
As soon as he like first try from the bottom. That's
cool.
Really incredible. Other people have that too. I think, I don't know. Probably a lot of people have that. Jimmy is like, I don't know. I don't know if he just has such a big margin or if he's just like trying 100% every time he pulls on the wall. Maybe he's just so used to trying 100% that he's just like, oh, this isn't even 100% for me. This is like, this V11 is like only 75% for me. But if I give it 100%, then I'm, you know, definitely going to do it. So
yeah.
I
mean, maybe that's, I think that's one of the cruxes of being a sport climber and a boulderer. You know, like those guys climb hard sport routes too, but they're not really sport climbers. Like they're definitely boulderers who can climb hard sport routes. And I think when you have spent times or seasons or years focused on being the best sport climber you can be, it's all about like perfecting the yin and yang, where you're like flowing and you're efficient as possible, and then you turn it on and try hard, and then you're immediately back to efficiency.
Definitely.
And it's hard to not do, like I boulder kind of the same way that I sport climb, you know, like it's so counterintuitive for me to pull on and like, I'm going to try 100% this whole time. Adjusting on holds, back to that. I'm often surprised at how many people just grab holds without much thought. They just, like really strong people that are climbing really hard, they just grab the hold however they grab the hold and don't second guess it and just pull on it, which, you know, credit to them that they can do that. But I'm often surprised, like, okay, that holds hard for me and I know exactly the best way to hold it because I have to hold it that way.
Same.
And why aren't these people even looking at the hold more closely?
Maybe it's because they don't have to.
They don't have to, yeah. But
or
maybe they do that on the hard stuff for them. You know, maybe it's just, maybe I do the same thing when I'm trying like stuff more within my means. But
I think it's
surprising.
The people, the elite level boulders who spend like all the time they spend outdoor rock climbing is like trying hard boulders, basically, like the Jimmy Webbs and the Sean Rabbs and the Keenan Takahashis. Like they're super, and you know, like everyone, most of the like V16 boulders out there that I've observed, like just looking at problems or like feeling problems before they try or before they pull on for a flash, or like just feeling holds on stuff they might want to project. Like they're so
detail oriented.
They're so detail oriented and they're so like focused on how they grab the holds. You know, they're like grabbing the holds super carefully and they're like, you know, getting all their fingers on just the right spot, and they're looking at the way their fingers sit on the hold. I think like the really, really seasoned elite level boulders all do that. You know, they're really clued into how they're grabbing the holds. But I think, you know, maybe some people who are like on their first or second trip to Rocklands and they spend 9 months out of the year training in a gym,
right?
You know, and they're just a little bit more used to grabbing gym holds than they are like holds outside. And they're super duper strong. Like they have a large margin even on really hard stuff. Like they just don't need to pay as close attention.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
You know, that Finnish kid, that really tall Finnish kid that we saw trying monkey wedding and that we saw do that 8A dyno really easily at power lines. Like he was, you know, he seemed really like clued into how he was grabbing the holds and stuff.